it's Halloween, and I can't think of anything scarier than letdown Yankees fans. Maybe that's because I spent the week yelling Dodgers in 6 at numerous people dressed as Aaron Judge. From World Series MVPs to everything else, we've got it all right here on our Halloween episode of Touching All Bases. You already know, I'm your host, Maura Kane, and I'm here with my terrifying panel of, why don't you guys tell us what you are?
I don't know. I found this. Yeah.
Okay, I'm purple.
I'm a Hawaiian cowboy.
I am Vector.
And I am a hunter.
Wow.
Stop looking at me.
Look at us.
Stop.
That's freaky.
That
I can
is-
see his
That's
eye
a
in the
freak
eye.
of nature right there.
Should
We
we,
really
get started
went
on the
all
show?
out today.
I'm not wearing this the whole time.
First up is our 3 to Scream segment, where we are highlighting MVPs and not so MVPs. First up, we'll be talking about Freddie Freeman's homers.
So I guess I'll take this one, start off. Freddie Freeman was for sure clutch this World Series for the Dodgers. 4 home runs, 6 hits, 12 RBIs, and batting with a 300 average. Probably the biggest moment of the entire World Series was that Game 1 grand slam to win it. I mean, what's crazy about that stat is that the first time that a walk-off grand slam has ever been in the World Series. And that's a crazy statistic for it to just now happen in 2024. I think he was definitely the key part of that offense for the Dodgers this World Series. I swear, I think every single game he hit a home run, and he's got I think a 6-game home run streak in the World Series, dating back to 2021. So MVP is very deserved for Freddie Freeman, and he was incredibly clutch this World Series because another guy we'll talk to later was quite not. So
You talked about
Aaron
his
Judge.
12.
Spoiler alert.
Oh my gosh.
oh God.
Well, you talked about his 12 RBIs, and a cool fact about that is his 12 RBIs was actually tied for the most in World Series history with Bobby Richardson, who played for the Yankees in the 1960 World Series. But that World Series went to 7 games, and Freddie Freeman was able to do it in only 5.
That's even more impressive. Yeah, I can't think of a player more deserving than Freddie Freeman. I adore Freddie Freeman. I was so happy from his success in this series. Not only do I love him, but he deserves it from what he battled through this summer with his son to what he actually, I didn't know this, but he played through a broken rib cartilage this World Series, as well as his ankle. So he battled through so many things, and I'm so happy to see him win this World Series MVP. I have a quick question. Is he a Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Yes.
Sir?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
That's what I was thinking
Absolutely.
too. Yeah. And do you think he goes in with a Braves hat, Dodgers hat, or MLB hat?
Braves. It has to be the Braves.
I don't know.
It has to be Braves.
I think it does too, but if
He
he
just won the World Series
If it's
MVP. with the
Dodgers, that would really sting for me.
I mean, if he
he
wins,
just won with the Dodgers in the World Series.
what I'm scared of is he'll win more with the Dodgers, and then he might
Yeah.
go.
I feel like
But-
at that point they would make it an MLB.
Yeah,
So
I
it
think
would
so
be-
too, because he did win his MVP in
I would hate
Atlanta.
that.
He
I-
won his
I-
first
too.
ring in Atlanta.
His legacy is with Atlanta, and when he got traded, he didn't want to leave Atlanta. It was his agent going against him. So if it's not a Braves hat, I think he'll say something else or change it to a Braves hat.
Or at least MLB.
Yeah, his heart's in Atlanta.
Yeah.
He meant so much more. We lost Chipper Jones and we brought in Freddie Freeman. And it was it's such a seamless transition and stuff. The Dodgers, there's so much superstars that come in and out that I feel like he meant so much to the Braves and stuff. Which is what all I'm talking about with Freddie Freeman is I can get emotional talking about Freddie Freeman. Y'all. Oh my God. I feel a connect. I mean, Freddie Freeman to me is like 11 years old, running out and playing with throwing a baseball like my dad, and then Freddie Freeman's batting, we'd run back inside and watch the at bat and stuff. That's my interpretation of Freddie Freeman. So it being on the Dodgers does still sting, obviously, but it's one of those things where it's I tell myself oh, he's a villain now, and I don't like the Dodgers, and then I see the at bat, and it makes me so happy to see him succeed. It's just it brings me back to being a little kid and seeing him on the Braves and stuff dominating, and it's so fun. I mean, I've what's it called? So I had the opportunity, I was able to go to Clemson National Championship with the Hunter Renfroe catch and stuff. I was able to be at that game. And I was able to be at the game when the Falcons gave the Panthers their only loss when they went 15-1. And those are easily the first 2, greatest 2 sports moments of my life. But then there's a drop off, and then there's just a flood of things. And Freddie Freeman's, I think every baseball highlight I have in my life revolves around Freddie Freeman and stuff. Yeah, so I've never been as into baseball as basketball and football, but I'm as into Freddie Freeman as any other hero of mine as a little kid.
No matter what team, I'm always rooting for Freddie.
I will always be a
matter what.
Freddie fan.
Yeah.
Always.
And I'm not a Braves fan or a Dodgers fan, but, just seeing everything that Freddie Freeman does, seeing him on and off the field, it's hard to not be a fan of him. So I'm really happy that, he got this World Series ring and got the MVP.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Freddie was absolutely a freak of nature this series. And also, like you said, it goes back to the Braves. 6 straight World Series
Yeah,
games with
back
a
to
home run.
2021.
That's insane.
I mean, that's the
That's
level of
ridiculous stat.
consistency
Yes.
you have to have.
That's a two-year difference, just right back to it in the World Series.
And it was almost 7. He had a 405
Oh my
foot
gosh.
fly out to center
And then,
that Aaron
yeah.
Judge snagged.
At
Judge
Yankee
caught.
Stadium this one.
No, what you're saying brings me to one little take I have, which sounds so mild now, and I think it's going to heat up maybe next year. I don't care what he does. I'm scared of Freddie Freeman in October until he doesn't do it in October. So
It's like your tattoo.
yeah, exactly. I want to get a tattoo on I told Drew this. I want to get a tattoo on my back that says, not really, that says Freddie in October is scary because he's getting older and he's getting injured. I think he's going to have some slumps in the summer, I think.
He is
'Cause it's just,
35.
yeah, exactly. He's old, but I think he's going to turn it up in October and stuff. I don't know. I think he might have like a Travis Kelce-esque year next year, but then just turn it up in October and stuff. So, yeah, I don't care if he has 11 home runs and bats 212. I'm terrified of Freddie in
Yeah,
October.
you always got to bet for him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like the question with Freddie, when you think the Dodgers contract's up, do you think the Braves are going to sign him for a year for him to retire?
I want
with
him
them?
to.
I think
that
I
would
said
be
it
cool.
as soon as he signed with Dodgers. It's totally possible.
I think
Absolutely.
it's just poetic for him to end his
DH. He doesn't
career.
even have to play first. DH at least. Like 1 year, please retire in Atlanta.
Honestly, they could just sign
I
him
could
for a
definitely
day.
see that.
I can
I
see
would
it.
cry.
No, yeah, like Matt Ryan did. Matt Ryan signed a one-day
Yes.
contract.
Honestly,
Yeah, even that's
honestly,
fine.
if
should do
he
that.
producing
Pujols
nothing,
did
sign
that.
him for a day and just end him
Yeah.
as a
Just
backup.
show
Pujols did it.
that the Braves meant as much to him as he did to us. Like that's what it's all about. If he signs that one-day contract, it shows that it was a mutual love, And so yeah, that.
Well,
For a whole decade, you didn't think about the Braves. You thought about Freddie Freeman. He
Yeah.
was the heart of that team. So.
Yeah.
Right.
He was around when we were like not good. Like he was like the only
Oh, yeah,
redeemable
Yeah.
thing. When I was like
In the
8, 9, 10 years
2010s.
old. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Early 2010s. it was
Exactly,
rough.
yeah.
And he was there.
and he was there for everything. Yeah.
well, speaking of former Braves, we just had our first trade of the offseason. Jorge Soler is heading to the Angels, and what do y'all have to say about that?
I think how fast it happened.
That's what I was
really
going to say.
shows-
I found it a little disrespectful. I mean, the offseason started less than 12 hours
Is that
ago.
normal?
And it happened.
It was a little disrespectful. They were like, you're out of here as soon as they could. Like, that was a little bit crazy.
Yeah, that's my
honestly.
question for is that normal? Does this
No,
happen in
I don't
because I know
think
like
so.
in like
Right
the NFL,
away.
the day the season ends, there's like coaching circuit and stuff.
Right
like,
away was
but-
real crazy.
There's
must have
probably
been
trades like that happen, but not as big as like Soler leaving.
Okay, that's okay. That's what I was curious.
Yeah.
It felt weird, but I didn't know if that was just how the MLB was.
But I mean, it did have to happen. I knew it was going to happen. It had to happen because we're going to be picking up Ozuna's option. So he's DH. When Acuna comes back,
Acuna
he
Matata.
cannot play right field yet. So he's going to be in the DH spot until he acclimates back to right field. So we had 3 DHs. Soler is a liability in the field. He can't play right field. So we're going to have to go grab a right field or something. But we had 3 DHs. 1 had to go. It was Soler because he was the worst out of the 3. But
Yeah, I think even with the Braves outfield, they've still got a pretty good outfield.
Yeah.
I mean, they got names like, of course, young star Kelenic coming up, Ozuna, which he's probably going to transition more to a DH. And of course, we got Ramon Laureano, who came in and pretty much did really good for the Braves. Michael Harris is solid in center, and Acuna when he comes back.
Yeah.
So the outfield is covered. I think he was one of the guys we could have let go, but. We also got to think about this. Could it be us, like Braves fans, like feeling a bad taste in their mouth because of that World Series that he did so good in a few years ago?
That's exactly what
I
it
was a
is.
little sad. Like, it's a little sad to see him go, but
Yeah.
It's a little
But it
sad to
makes
see him
sense.
go,
It
but
does.
in
It
the
had to-
long
it
run,
had to happen.
in the long run, statistically, I think it makes sense for him to go. Because
I mean, he wasn't good whenever we got him in this last summer. Like, he didn't do much for us. So it was just really that one World Series run that he went crazy, and that was really it.
It was his time to part ways.
We went out
But
and got
it's
a
sad
bullpen.
That it is.
Yeah,
that's what we needed.
yeah. I mean, he didn't seem very good. But, you know,
Batted like
whatever.
240.
We also were not taking Soler's contract. We don't have to pay it.
Yeah.
The Angels got it, so that's good for us.
Yeah.
All right, next up we have MVP, more like LVP. Please elaborate.
Least valuable player.
I said that right.
You said elaborate.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I meant
LVP means
know
least
what
valuable
happened.
player. Talking about Ohtani and Judge. obviously.
Mainly Aaron Judge.
Well, I feel like Ohtani, it's a little disrespectful because of the injuries that he's had.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put him as LVP. I would say on UVP, unfortunate scenario.
Unfortunate timing.
No, he
victim.
wasn't that. He was not that good the entire.
Honestly, it just expectations, like he went below expectations of what we thought he was going to do in the World Series.
Yeah,
I mean-
and he did have the injuries. He did have the shoulder injuries, but Robert said, we've asked him many times over, and it's not impeding, talking about his shoulder injury. He says he doesn't feel it, and I think it's just the chase. You see it. There's some big at-bats that could result in a walk, and not taking the base and chasing hasn't been good. So I think it's easy to be like, oh, it's his shoulder, but Ohtani is saying it's not my shoulder. Ohtani is just saying, like, I'm chasing, I just have not been good.
Yeah, the Dodgers fans will just use it to defend his performance, which was not good the entire postseason,
No.
even before his shoulder.
Yeah, and honestly, so disappointing. I mean, I know going in, we were all so excited to see
And so
Ohtani in
overhyped.
his first
I
playoff run.
even had him as my World Series MVP.
You did, yeah.
Yeah, I had it last week.
Incredibly overhyped series.
Our World Series MVP was very bad.
It was
With
Max
Max Muncy, who went 0 for 20.
No way.
He was 0 for
Hey, but-
26 before he had. I think he had one hit in the last
I had
game.
Max
He did,
Muncy as his
yeah.
MVP.
God.
I picked Max Muncy.
At least I
We
didn't
both
feel
did.
that
We
bad.
both
I picked
did.
Max Muncy as representative of the Dodgers 5 through 9. I was kind of saying the Dodgers 5 through 9 would be the MVP of the World Series, which I mean I don't even know if that was true, but like that was my original prediction. It wasn't necessarily Max Muncy, but I did say Max Muncy.
I think the MVP of the 5 through 9 would definitely be, gosh, what's his name?
Kike Hernandez.
Hernandez.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
He's
Kike.
great. He's good in October.
There is a postseason not postseason interview. Like after the game, he got interviewed, and it was like him
The
going.
Noah Lyle one.
Yes,
He
yes.
goes, world champs, suck it, Noah Lyle. Oh my
that.
gosh,
Yeah,
amazing.
I forgot about Noah Lyles. man.
I love.
Speaking of course, LVP, there is the guy on the other team that I really want to talk about.
I would love to talk about Aaron Judge. right now.
Aaron Judge. Yeah, I think
Pitiful.
he proved it yet again that he sucks in the postseason.
I think that he
Good in the
proved.
postseason.
I backed him multiple times, but I'm slowly shifting to he can't handle the lights.
Because it's over.
I'm shifting.
You're not.
No, yes,
No,
I
you're
am.
not.
Yes,
he's
I
gonna
am.
He's gonna
Yes, I
hit
am.
64 home runs next year.
Yeah,
You're
and
gonna be
then
like
do
Aaron Judge
nothing.
is back.
No.
He's elite. Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm saying he's elite,
No, yeah.
but he's
In the regular
Regular
season.
Yeah, we talked about this before. He's kind of at that Lamar Jackson level where it's like you can hit me with so many statistics
Joel
and
Embiid.
accolades, and I'm like, okay, great. Let me see him win, and everything changes. But there's nothing he can do that would change his legacy right now, and before October. And we'll talk about later
Well,
whether
yeah,
we think he'll
we'll
ever
talk
do
about
it,
later.
but-
I think.
No, yeah, he's a disappointment.
And an interesting stat that I found is so in the regular season, his chase rate was 18.7%, and then during the postseason, it was 28.7%, and then in the World Series, it increased even more to 34.8%.
And that's swinging at pitches that are outside of the
Yeah.
strike
Outside
zone,
of
right?
the strike zone,
So
yeah.
that's kind of
Yeah,
exactly
so
what I was talking about.
as the pressure increased, he just got worse.
So
and
like
worse.
he's looking and he's like, hey, this pitch isn't good, but I'm gonna swing anyway because I'm Aaron Judge. That's kind of, I mean, that's what I was talking about.
Oh my God.
I feel like
All right,
he's
man,
just
yeah.
trying to go yard every at bat.
Like,
That's not about
He's
that.
not trying to get the ball in play. He's trying to hit it out of play. He's trying to go
Yeah.
big for his team. And honestly, that's the thing that's hurting him the most. Out of every single player on the Yankees roster this World Series, I think the one that hurt them the most was their captain.
I love this
Judge.
so much. Yeah.
Captain. He's the captain.
He struck out
I agree, too.
7 times in the World Series alone. He struck
One
out 7
series,
times in
5 games.
Struck out
His
7 times.
ego-based decision-making came at a detriment to the
But
offense. Was what I said on the third episode.
besides batting, can we talk about his
That-
error
that
last
error
fly
last
ball.
night.
Oh, God.
Where's the
If
ball?
he got that ball, if he got that out, that was an easy out
Were
to
you watching
make.
that?
Yeah,
It was
watching
terrible.
that.
It was awful.
We
I was like,
watched it
wow.
together.
Yeah, I was with
All
you.
5
Oh,
runs,
my God.
all 5 runs in the 5th inning to tie the game were scored with 2 outs.
Yep.
So if Aaron
Yeah.
Judge had caught that
I
ball,
said that too.
those
The
5
inning
runs
would've
would
been
never
over.
have
I do remember
happened, and the
this.
Yankees probably would have won the game.
They could probably be going back to LA today.
Oh, we'd be
to
listening
play
to
tomorrow.
Drew talking about why Aaron Judge is turning it around and the Yankees are going to win. Like, it was that close. Yeah.
I just thought the Yankees were going to be able to turn a tide, and I thought Judge was going to be able to turn up, and he didn't.
I'm not gonna lie. After that Game 4,
let
of
everyone
course, not Game 4. Was it Game 4 or Game 5? No, Game 4. I think everybody was like thinking, "Oh, the Yankees could turn it around." there was not a single
It was a bullpen
single part in my body that said they're going to.
No, I had
It was
no
a
faith.
bullpen game. Like, I'd
no
hope you
faith.
score 11 runs. And speaking of that, Aaron Judge hitting an RBI in garbage time.
You texted
Who
the group
cares
chat.
about
You
that?
That's what I was
You
saying.
texted in the group chat. You were like, "Oh no, this changes my Aaron Judge narrative." And
No,
I
it
was about
didn't.
to. I was about to.
No, it didn't. It
I
didn't
was like,
change it at
"Oh my
all.
God."
Not even the home run last night changed my narrative because
No.
I still consider Game 5 garbage time because he should have been doing that Game 1, 2, or 3. Either one. If he did something in those games, I'd count that. But after that, it didn't. Nothing.
I think it could beg the case. He tried to pick it up at the last moment.
Yeah.
Because he had ample opportunity games 1, 2, 3 to pick this up and give his team a shot, but he picks it up in the last game of the series and it's still not
Probably
enough.
because there's less pressure because they knew they were finished at that point.
I even think last night when I watched the last pitch, I don't even think Verdugo was even trying to swing for
gosh,
that.
that was
a
embarrassing.
Yeah, that was
horrible
bad.
swing.
That
He
was
was just
bad.
Embarrassing. And it's so funny how it ended with Verdugo, who came
reflect-
from the Red Sox. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
I mean, it's like that ninth inning, they just gave up. Like they
Attitude.
didn't try to fight.
I
Like,
think
remember the
that-
Titans, man. Attitude reflects leadership, and Aaron Judge is their captain. He's playing terrible, and he's.
he needs to get his captain
but
license
If
revoked.
Aaron Judge, 100%, yeah. There's not.
Derek
it's
Jeter should be
hilarious. Him being captain is hilarious. Like the fact that he's their captain is. I mean, I guess it's reflective on the Yankees,
Derek
but it's
Jeter's
like.
probably so embarrassed.
No, 100%. It's like a captain, someone that's like, oh, as long as my team's doing good and I have no pressure on me, I can perform. That's not a captain. Like that's horrible. Yeah, I mean, that can be a great player, but that's not a captain at all.
I think this whole World Series kind of dials down to the routes that both teams took. The Yankees took an easy route and still struggled. The Dodgers probably had to play what should have been the World Series with the Padres.
Padres.
That series
No, yeah.
was way better than this World Series because most of us had this series going to what, 6, 7 games?
Yeah.
Like, was there someone that had it to 5? I can't remember. There might have been someone that had 5 games.
I think Kaden
I wanted to do 5 and I decided to do 6.
Yeah.
You
So I
should've done
chickened
You
out of
should've
it.
done
So,
5.
yeah, I
And
was
it was
wrong.
almost
Yeah.
6. It was almost 6.
I think everybody.
should've been 6.
Yeah, I was
Judge
kinda
caught that
exactly
ball, it
right,
would've been
you know?
six.
if we didn't
Should've
blow a
been six.
5-0 lead.
Honestly, I think everybody saw
In one
Yankees Dodgers. It's gonna be a good series.
With 2 outs.
So overhyped. It was crazy.
Honestly, what should have been the biggest factor, and it would have been a quick series, would have been playing the Guardians and they played the Royals.
Yeah.
Yeah, they played the Guardians and the Royals.
But I think they're closer
And
to
they
the
still
Guardians
have
and Royals in October than to the Dodgers and Padres. Like I think if you were to like group them together, like I feel like in the month of October, she's about to flip out. In
What?
the month of October, the Mets, Padres, and Dodgers look like legitimately World Series contenders.
Yes.
And the Guardians, Royals, and Yankees look like fraud teams, and then they just like
just
played each
squeaked
other,
in. As of
recent
and that's why
years,
they
yes.
squeaked in.
Yeah.
Yeah, as of recently.
Obviously, the Mets and Yankees in the regular season are very different teams, but in October,
Guardians had one
yeah.
lucky game, and then same thing. Yankees also
Yeah.
had
One
one
lucky
lucky game.
That's
Exactly,
hilarious.
yeah.
I mean, I can't even back this team up. It was a total meltdown from every single part of the field, and yeah.
Well, here, Drew, we'll make you a bit happier with our next 3 to see. Maura, what is it?
And finally, for our 3 to Scream segment, we are discussing Soto's postseason performance.
He's gone.
I
I'll say it right now. He's gone.
Okay, let's make Drew happy.
no.
He's
Let's
gone.
talk
I
about how he
want to
was
speak on this
good.
one too.
He's gone.
Okay.
I don't think Juan Soto. Well, I would love if he stayed. I don't see a reason for him to stay.
He's gone.
His stars went down at the biggest moments, and that's not what he wants as a player. So him moving to a different club would probably be better for him. Obviously, I'd love him being a Yankee. Great, amazing player that's helped us throughout the season, helped us get to the World Series. But when he's surrounded by stars that aren't showing up like big, why would he? I mean, unless if they offer him the contract that he wants, why would he?
Yeah, he was the last player to leave the dugout last night, and honestly, to me, I just see that's him taking in his last few minutes as a Yankee. In his post-game press conference, he said, "I feel like every team has the same opportunities when I go into free agency." Hello, that's basically
He's gone.
saying.
That's
That's basically
it.
saying,
that's a
if the
F you to the
Royals give me
Yankees.
the money, I'm going to the Royals. I don't care. Whoever gives me the money,
Honestly,
He
I'll go
values
there.
I think if the Yankees
brand.
do give him the money, he would come back.
Yeah,
I don't.
sure.
I think
Yeah.
I think the Mets will top the Yankees offer.
I think so too.
Yes.
That's what I was thinking.
Yep.
catfished. Like he got like they're like, hey, come to look at these stripes. You know, look at all these legends in the
Look
past.
at Aaron
And
Judge.
Literally,
we don't
just
have
look at Yankees postseason numbers.
we don't
He
have
wasn't
last names
catfished.
on our
He was getting
jerseys.
it.
We're so cool.
He was
Like,
proposed
it's-
with a good project with good players that didn't perform.
Look at this guy. He's 6'8", hits 60 home runs. He's probably good in October too. You know, we don't have last names on our jerseys. We're so cool and different. Come play for us.
Listen,
And then
let's be real. The
got there, and it's
Yankees
just a-
were trying to
yeah.
build a team this year to make it that far.
This
and
was their
put-
chance.
They
This
were
was
putting the pieces together. Soto was that final missing piece. But just because you have the final piece, if the other pieces start falling apart, you're still not going to get that World Series win.
I think, yeah.
Soto was probably the best player for the Yankees, or at least one of the best this postseason.
Oh, 100%.
Let's
I
be
mean,
real.
he had a
Absolutely.
327 average, a 469 on-base percentage, and a 1,102 OPS.
I think
So,
you just
pretty
after-
elite numbers.
you need change after something like this. Like if you get that far and you have this great team, they all let you down. I think you need change.
Honestly,
Absolutely.
I don't
You
see
need
Honestly,
change.
if I'm Soto, get out of there.
Yeah.
Do not
The
stay
Dodgers,
there.
the Dodgers have come into the mix in these past few weeks for Soto, and if I'm Soto and I'm looking across the dugout and I'm seeing all these stars performing at the same time while my stars are doing nothing, I'm not gonna play with guys who shrivel up and die under the
Yeah, there's
lights.
stars that are
I
actually
I'm
playing
going
like
to the other
stars.
dugout and I'm going and playing for them who actually know how to win and don't die in the playoffs.
If I'm the Yankees, do whatever you can to keep Soto because
Oh,
he's
yeah,
the only guy keeping
try.
the team alive in the postseason. Because think about it, Garrett Cole, was he the one that gave up all the 5 runs?
Yeah, but they're all unearned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
That's insane.
Why were they all unearned, Judge?
yeah.
Well, there was another error, too.
Judge.
I mean,
There's
their stars just gave up. They were the reason why they lost. Besides Giancarlo Stanton trying to keep them alive at whatever flick of the wrist he could. Honestly, Giancarlo Stanton and Soto felt like the only ones trying to give the Yankees that win. The rest of that team just imploded on themselves because you got Aaron Judge, who, God Almighty, if he hits a ball, they're acting like they won the World Series.
That is their World Series.
And then Rizzo basically did nothing the entire time. And
Like,
good
it's
Lord,
crazy.
bring in Nasty Nestor for 2 pitches, gone.
Yeah, no, that was a very bad
was-
decision. That's probably.
we'll talk about that in a
Every
Oh, are we?
yeah, Aaron Boone.
every big player for the Yankees fell apart. No one was. They honestly acted like they did not want that World Series. They really didn't.
I've never seen a team just roll over and just
Yeah.
die like that, like in a World Series. Like
don't-
They
or
got,
how-
they got
I
left in the
think-
snow, all right.
It's one thing to not be performing offensively. Like sometimes you're just facing really good pitchers, but like obviously they weren't performing offensively, and there's like no excuse for that. But I'm saying that the defensive errors, that's just embarrassing.
unacceptable.
Yeah,
Flat
it's
out embarrassing. They looked like they were like little league players when they were out in the outfield, and it wasn't pretty.
Real quick, I'm gonna do the thing where I bring up something really specific, and y'all might not know what I'm talking about. But you were talking about it's a lack of heart and stuff, a lack of energy and passion for the Yankees. Do y'all remember the Jazz Chisholm at bat where the pitcher was kind of messing with him, and then the ump did something, and the Jazz was so mad, and he ended up popping up. He did a little pop up, and he got so pissed, and he just like ran, and he was out and stuff. That was my favorite Yankees at bat because I was like, oh look, there's a little bit of heart and competitive spirit in this game. Like I never saw it, and like I mean, Jazz Chisholm's my favorite Yankee now, absolutely.
Jazz
Like,
is
he's-
so
Jazz
cool.
is built for New York.
But Jazz was
I mean, I
trash.
feel like I see what you mean that he's built for the legacy of New York, but he's the exception to this New York team. Like I feel like it's just such a like I don't even know like spoiled and whiny team. It feels like watching them play, and then Jazz is the last one that's like fighting to the very end and stuff. And so then that's not the Yankees' history, but I think that was the Yankees of this month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
All right, next up we have our spooky segment. We wanted to incorporate the holiday into this episode, so I want you guys to think and let us know who these players should be for Halloween, or dressed up as. First up, we have Fernando Tatis Jr.
I said he should be a worm because he was suspended for ringworm. You know, however he wants to do that. Go ahead.
I'm not going there.
I just realized something. We all forgot our whiteboards.
I realized that about 5 minutes ago.
I just now realized.
I got y'all.
Bye.
I got y'all.
This would have been.
Oh, okay. Bye, Kaden.
Okay. Well, I guess he's not on our spooktacular segment.
Okay, well we're down to 4.
It's right
but-
here. You're right there.
I had Fernando Tatis Jr. dressing up as Captain Jack Sparrow. Because Jack Sparrow, he kind of takes risks, does what he wants to, and I feel like in the same way, so does Tatis. And also, like, like not in a mean way. I just feel like Tatis gives off like pirate vibes.
Yeah, his hair. His
hair, like
yeah.
I could just like I really think he would rock a pirate
He
look.
honestly kind of looks like Johnny Depp a little bit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Johnny Depp. What?
I had Tatis being a horse on steroids because of the horse steroids.
Oh.
Honestly, picturing Tatis in a horse outfit, jacked up, sounds really funny.
My,
So, yeah,
I like
horse
that.
steroids.
I like that.
my costume is Spider-Man because he's very under the radar, but he's also like the best.
Ooh, that's good too.
Okay, yeah.
I don't have my computer and I forgot.
Okay.
You forgot who you
Like Barry Bonds, you know, the steroids thing. I don't know. I'm trying to think on the spot, you know. Liver King got caught for that pretty recently, so you know, he goes to Liver King.
Very rough show today.
Our
Well,
markers
Maura,
are
All right.
working.
Next up, we have Jose Altuve. I hope I said that right.
Yeah.
You did.
Good job.
That's all I need, cause
Oh, mine's a cheetah. Yeah, for
cheetah.
I love that.
explanatory reasons.
Cheetah.
He's a cheater.
He's a cheetah.
I said that he should, like, just for like funny reasons, he should be Judge and Judge should be Altuve just because of the height difference. Like how,
would be
like,
bad.
like just seeing Judge in like an Altuve jersey and then Altuve in a Judge jersey.
You should go as like Aaron Judge's bat. That'd be funny.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's genius
Aaron Judge's
actually.
bat.
I
I
love that.
said Speedy Gonzalez because he's like short and fast, and Oompa Loompa because he's a joke, and and I did what is it, Jay-Z because Jay-Z cheated on Beyonce and he's so,
Wow.
Okay, he got 3 options.
Yeah, those are the 3.
You don't have any for Tatis, but you have
Oh, yeah,
thoughts
no,
for
no, no, no,
Altuve.
I respect Tatis too much. Yeah, I would never insult someone that
We
I.
love Tatis in this building.
For Altuve, so
Jesus
I don't know if you
Christ,
guys,
that's what Tatis
I don't know if you guys watch TikTok, but you guys know like the little gnome videos where it's
doesn't
like
watch
the gnomes
TikTok?
versus the wizards and like the little guy running around.
What's your algorithm? Man?
That's what Altuve is like a little old. He's a little old gnome. He's getting a little old in his age. He's a very
Okay.
small little guy, and yeah, he's small, getting in his elder years. Honestly, he's like a retirement gnome. He's getting a little old.
I have Altuve as Casper the Friendly Ghost because, you know, Casper is often misunderstood.
I'm so mad.
Casper is often misunderstood. Everyone is scared of him and thinks that he is a mean ghost, but in reality, Casper is very friendly.
It's not mean, more corrupt. Than
Okay.
mean.
He's like 5'3".
Well, same thing
He's
for
not scary.
Altuve.
I'm not scared of
Altuve is misunderstood. Everyone thinks he is a cheater. He is not a cheater. I could go on and on. I could read my classical oration that I wrote for English class on why Altuve is not a cheater, but I'm not. I will
I
say
prepared
it
a
all the
speech.
time.
He's
He's a baseball player, not
God.
the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
We don't need
There's
educated
nothing-
speeches.
There's nothing
Yeah,
worse
I
than
said
someone
I'm-
giving
I
a
said
whole
I'm not
freaking
gonna do
speech.
it.
She was arguing with a Yankees fan about Altuve not cheating last night.
Yeah, I was good at that.
Hey, Aaron Judge and Altuve, y'all know Elf. They could go as like Buddy, Will Ferrell, and Papa Elf. That'd be hilarious. I would
Oh
love
my gosh,
that.
you're coming up with these on the spot. This is impressive.
Thank you.
Well done, Kaden.
This comes on. I think about these things a lot. Yeah.
Always on your mind.
24/7.
It's
Yeah,
on
yeah.
the mind.
This is my brain for sure.
Well, we have seen your rants the past like 3 weeks.
I'm so glad these Halloween costumes are your reoccurring thoughts. Anyway, last but certainly not least, I'm going off script, but Ben Rice.
Oh,
What are we talking about, Ben Rice, for, Maura?
I love
His
it.
Halloween costume.
English. He has
I love
Guys,
this.
what?
I love this. Wait, okay.
Giving Ben
What's-
Rice a Halloween costume.
What's the,
I think he
what's the
deserves
rice
one.
brand called that you were talking
And you're not allowed to say a bag of
Ben's
rice.
Uncle Ben's rice, whatever that mascot is, do that.
He can't do Uncle Ben's rice.
Be a bad idea.
He's not allowed to do that. That would be very politically incorrect.
I don't even think the company would let him. Let's be real.
You know, I think that Ben Rice would be a ghost, not Casper the Friendly Ghost, but just a ghost. You know why? He wasn't there.
disappeared. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. Maybe like a hunter, like camouflage. You don't see him. Yeah, just something that's non-existent.
Hey, maybe if he was there, the Yankees would have done.
What if he,
all right.
Oh, okay, you can die on that hill, buddy.
Here come the excuses.
he could be hot to a girl. He did one notable thing once, and now we're talking about him constantly.
Dude, these are
all
amazing.
the
Very
time.
good.
These are
Yeah.
amazing.
That is also not where I thought that was going.
I think we should start the show. I think we should start the show with a Ben Rice edit. If any of us, if I made
my
one, would
God.
y'all let
Like
us?
and comment
I would-
for a Ben Rice
I don't
edit.
wanna make
Comment
one
if you
and then
guys
y'all
want a
not
Ben
do it.
Rice section at the beginning, an intro.
I'm gonna
agenda.
comment.
Like
then
and
we're gonna
comment,
get-
everyone.
Ben
I'm gonna
Rice.
comment. I'm gonna like my comment. My mom's gonna like that comment, and I'm gonna make a Ben Rice.
Okay. You do that.
Yeah.
I love how Kaden has the best ideas and the worst costume on the panel. And last but
We're like
certainly
the-
not least, we have everyone's favorite segment, Buy or Sell. First up, you guessed it, Judge's legacy is tarnished forever. Thoughts? Now that we have whiteboards.
Please, everybody. We know where we're going with
Sell. No, I'm selling.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
Whoa,
Okay.
bars down.
This is
Sell
such an
on
easy. Yeah, this is such a. You want to
I
go?
want to
Okay.
get sales.
Okay, this is why I am selling it. Okay, have y'all ever heard of Ted Williams?
I have heard of Ted Williams.
Yes.
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 Would y'all say that he is one of the greatest baseball players of all time? Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all would say that? Do y'all know what Ted Williams did in the postseason?
What did he do?
He batted 200 with 5 hits, a singular RBI, 2 runs scored. So yeah, he really did not do much.
Did he win a championship?
I do not think so. Aaron Judge, on the other hand, he did not.
There.
Aaron Judge, on the other hand, had a 205 batting average, so a bit better. 45 hits, a lot better. 16 homers, a lot better. And 37 runs scored, which is also a lot better. So I'm saying that Judge might just be remembered for his regular season performance. Now, if we think of like who are the best players like of all time, you're probably going to say Babe Ruth. He performed well in the postseason and in the regular season. So I don't think it's going to be in talks for, like best player of all time, but I don't think it's going to tarnish his legacy because we've seen players like Ted Williams still have a great legacy years and years to come, even though they didn't perform well in the postseason.
I am gonna buy on this one because I think he's gonna be known as the what could have been of this generation of baseball players. I think that he has so much potential.
Might be Acuna if he keeps getting hurt.
Don't start that.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, he
That's
has so
offensive.
much potential to do so good in the postseason, and he doesn't. I don't know what Ted Williams' potential was in the postseason as well. He was clearly world
We weren't
class.
alive back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like
Can't really remember.
a lot of years before our time.
But,
Yeah, with this one, I'm going to go buy because, let's be real, if Judge put up the same types of numbers that he puts up in the regular season in the postseason, you could honestly say Judge could be the best player of all time in baseball. Let's be real. Judge's stats in the regular season are remarkable, incredible, one-of-a-kind player. The only reason that he is not considered the best player in our generation is because of the postseason. If he put up these same unremarkable, crazy numbers in the postseason, Judge honestly could take Babe Ruth's spot as the best player of all time.
Absolutely.
I
Really,
agree.
he has the traits.
And what I was saying is that I don't think since he doesn't perform in the postseason, he will never be Babe Ruth level. But Ted Williams
sound like that, so.
is still a great player, and he is known as one of the best, not the best, but one of the best players in baseball, and I think Judge can still be on that
I
level.
feel like that means you're buying because his legacy is an incredible player that can't produce in the playoffs. And if you're saying that I think I feel like you're buying with that. Like the fact that he's an incredibly productive player that isn't good in the playoffs. That's his legacy. I am just like Aaron Judge in October. Yeah, just like Aaron Judge in October. I'm selling because you say this all the time and it's very true. It takes, it's kind of what you're saying too, it takes one swing of the bat. I think of legacy tarnished forever, I'm trying to think, Jose Altuve's legacy is messed up forever because no matter what he does, people are going to look back at the time he allegedly cheated.
did not cheat.
Barry Bonds' legacy is tarnished forever because when they found out about steroids, Deshaun Watson's legacy is tarnished forever. I think there's nothing Barry Bonds could have done if people just see Altuve as a cheater. There's nothing Altuve could have done that would make people change their mind about that. If they just see Barry Bonds as a cheater, there's no amount of statistical achievement that would make people say, "Hey, Barry Bonds is better." It's
Next episode, can we have a segment just of me doing my classical oration to prove that Altuve is not a cheater? I'm very upset right now.
Honestly, we have it's obviously gonna be post off season. Do it.
We can do an Instagram story.
If we could have a whole half, we could have half of an episode just based on did Altuve cheat? Because it comes up every single year.
I'll bring the
I would love
popcorn.
that.
We'll bring the drink.
I'll be sitting back. I'd love
If
that.
Aaron Judge has an incredible postseason and wins the World Series, does his legacy change?
Yes.
So yeah, that's why I think his legacy isn't tarnished. He can still get out of this. He still is capable of changing his legacy. Whether he or not he does is debatable. But I might be interpreting the question differently than y'all. I think that if the question is it's set in stone, it's too late in his career. There's nothing he can do to change his legacy. I would sell on that idea.
Yeah, I see your
That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking of it more as like, oh, there's no chance he's going to have a long-lasting legacy because of his terrible
Yeah.
postseason.
He would have to make changes, but it wouldn't. Like it's like one swing of the bat. You know, it would not be major changes.
I'm just saying he can still have a great legacy
Yes.
even with a poor postseason performance.
Regardless of his postseason performance, he's going to have a very memorable career.
Oh, yeah.
He has done a lot
Oh,
of
yeah.
memorable things in baseball, broken a lot of records. But here's my problem with Judge, and the saddest part is the ceiling is, for me, in my opinion, the realistic ceiling. If he performed like he does in the regular season and the postseason, he would go down as the best baseball player of all time. I really believe that.
He has the physical tools to.
He has.
He's Barry Bonds without the steroids.
He has the ability to do that. There's either something wrong in his mental side, the pressure that gets to him, because honestly, the realistic ceiling is he could be one of the greatest baseball players of all time, but because of what he does in the postseason, it keeps bringing down his legacy. His legacy, as it is for a regular season player, it's already way up there. Better than probably most of the league, honestly, at this point.
Absolutely.
But it's what his postseason has done that's impacted how we're going to remember him. Because if he put up the same numbers there's same thing with Mike Trout. Mike Trout has rarely made the postseason, and most people still consider Mike Trout one of the best players in baseball. Yeah. But because he has never made it to the playoffs, we don't, of course, that's not going to impact how we think about him. But because Judge has made it to the postseason and he's performed like that, our perception of him is a little bit differently. Because when you think of Mike Trout, you think of, oh yeah, that was a great player that should have made the playoffs. Aaron Judge, a great player that stunk in the playoffs. So it's swapping it a little bit because of Judge's performance in the playoffs. Because regular season Judge goes down as one of the greatest players.
You have to go. Too.
Right.
And then I'll real quick.
Okay, so I'm buying this. My point is, Judge is 32. He really doesn't have much time left. And I see this World Series as the Yankees' really only chance, like only window. And if they don't make it back to the postseason, they'll make it back to the postseason. If they don't make it back to the World Series, Judge's legacy is going to be remembered for this World Series. This is one of the worst World Series losses in franchise history for the Yankees. That game, last night's game 5, one of the worst losses in Yankees history, I would say.
That drop will be his legacy.
Yeah, and I honestly think people are not going to care about his MVP this year. They're gonna. This performance is going to overshadow
It's
going to overshadow this MVP. So I do think it's tarnished. I think he has to win at least 2 World Series to make this up, and he has to perform well in them.
I would say one.
I would say one.
One, but he has to go absolutely.
I would say
be a
one,
monster.
but his performance actually has to be good. He
Yeah.
can't ride the backs of
Like
Soto.
fantastic.
I mean, one and World Series MVP.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Or 2 World Series and just good.
Just
Good
real
performance.
fast, and this is kind of a take that we don't have to unpack right now, but I think Aaron Judge is just as talented of a baseball player as Michael Jordan was a basketball player. Absolutely. And I think that Michael Jordan started his career as an incredibly productive regular season player, and then his arrogance and ego-based decision-making of not passing the ball made them lose in the playoffs year after year after year. And then he ran into a Phil Jackson who, this isn't, like Michael Jordan himself said, I was not a championship type of player, and I ran into Phil Jackson, and Phil Jackson coached me to being that. I think the first baseball team to say, hey, let's get a manager that can teach mentality and get people to have the right mindset rather than just a manager that does all the analytical stuff. I think the first team that does that is going to change baseball forever. That's a little bit of a hot take. Maybe in the offseason we can delve into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I think
Is Boone next? Is that?
Yes.
That is actually our next
That's a
point,
perfect
Laura.
segue.
perfect.
Next up we have, as I already mentioned, Aaron Boone lost this series.
Oh my God, you guys.
I'm not even going to change this. Aaron Boone, I think, is the biggest reason as to why the Yankees never win the World Series. I think he is the biggest problem in that locker room, for sure. He has an insanely talented roster, and he still can't get there. So honestly, I think Aaron Boone needs to go. They need to get a competent manager like Brian Snitker. Let's be real. If Brian Snitker was in that Yankees locker room, they would win a World Series.
No.
Boone is not a competent manager.
I am selling this. I think that Boone had some very questionable decisions in the World Series. We have him putting Nestor Cortez in to close out Game 1. We have how he decided between the Game 2 and Game 3 starter, even though, let's see,
better.
who was it? Rodon was far better at home, but he started on the road, and then Schmidt was far better at home and then started on the road. Or did I say that wrong? You know what I'm trying to say, right? Right. Okay. They should have switched the way that they were starting, so because one performed significantly better at home and one performed significantly better on the road, but they flipped it so they weren't playing to their strengths. So yes, he had some very bad, calls and judgment decisions that you can say this was one of the reasons that the Yankees did not win the World Series. But to pin it all on Boone is a wild, overstatement. Judge didn't perform. There were so many factors that went into the Yankees losing the World Series, and it was not solely on Boone.
I'm going by for this. I think it's about 50-50 between him and Judge, but it might be 60-40 with Boone being favored. Just to start it off, he took Cole out of Game 1 after only 88 pitches. With your ace, you have to let him ride out, especially in the World Series. Took out Luke Weaver after only 19 pitches in Game 1. Brought in Cortez to face, who hasn't pitched since September 19th with a shoulder injury, to face Shohei, Mookie, and Freddie. He got Ohtani out. But then Boone walks Mookie, who was 0 for 5 in his career against Cortez. And so Freddie comes up. We all know what happened. Freddie is a 357 lifetime hitter with the 2024 with the bases loaded, and he has always been a good lefty hitter as a left-handed batter. So that's just Game 1. Game 2. Game 2, he pinched hit Jose Trevino with the bases loaded. Jose Trevino, what had he done? What has he done this entire series? Nothing. So he flied out with the bases loaded. That was a big part of that game. Game 5, he let Cole die on that mound last night. I mean, yeah, it was the errors, but Cole was honestly part of one of those errors. Cole was part of one of those errors. He needed to cover that bag at first base.
Absolutely.
He could have gotten out of that inning if he covered first base. But Boone allowing Cole to just keep on going, they just kept scoring on him. They just let him out. And then also kept Jazz at cleanup the entire series. Jazz is 0 for 17 with runners in scoring position.
Why would you have Jazz Chisholm clean up anyway?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Kept Volpe at 7 even after the Grand Slam. Yankees have had fundamental problems all season as well, and that kind of falls on the manager because what are you doing to change that? The entire season they've had base running problems and fundamental errors, and it showed in the World Series because Boone did nothing to change that. So I place almost everything, not almost everything. Judge is a big part of that loss, but Boone definitely had a lot to do with it.
Oh, yeah, I got you. We'll go buy-sell. This is the best buy-sell segments I think we've ever had. These are so perfectly controversial. But to go off the last thing you said, first to go off the last thing you said, base running and fielding, that's usually a matter of like heart and determination. And I think if you're usually just big market teams that can sign superstars usually lack that and stuff. I think first of all, dang, I really lost my train of thought. That's tough to do on a panel, you know. But I think that, you know what, you can go, Drew.
All right, I'll go.
I'll get it back.
I'm buying on this one because I believe that anything that goes wrong for a team relies on the masthead. And it's like the masthead is Boone, and then his star players are below, and then the middle players are below that, and then whoever's batting ninth or whatever is below that. And Boone, Nestor Cortez, that was
Nasty nest?
I got the
decision.
notification that he was coming, and I was like, why?
Game 1 is the most important game of a series because that's what
Every
starts
sport.
you off. Every single game, basketball, hockey, soccer.
I gotta write this down. Pretty good.
Sorry for saying soccer, but football,
We gotta
all of
let's start the
that.
show.
Bring the soccer up.
all sports rely on that Game 1. And to put in a pitcher that hasn't pitched since September over a guy who Tim Hill did great in Game 2 as well. He showed that he was worth it. Like, he showed that Boone messed up with his decision to put in Nestor.
It was as bad as Sengai in the Mets.
Yes.
Like, that's how bad.
That's a
it
good
was.
Talk about that
comparison.
trash over
Yeah.
there.
But I think that decision solely relies on him. Obviously, the ones that Riley mentioned rely on him. and his managerial, Jazz Chisholm at 4. I mean, come on.
Stanton, hello. Put Stanton at
They
4.
moved Stanton
down. He moved Stanton down to 5. Why?
I don't get it. And Judge stayed 3. I think he could have. I don't want to say what I think the roster could be because I don't have it on the top of my head right now.
Ben Rice should have been leading off. We all know that.
Obviously.
That
all
was his
know.
biggest mistake
was
by
the-
far.
That was the first.
Oh, maybe I
mistake.
should buy because he did get rid of Ben Rice. I got mine back though.
All right.
So sell, obviously. First of all, if the Guardians made the World Series and lost the Dodgers in 5, and the manager was terrible, we wouldn't be blaming the manager. I feel like I think the first reason I'm selling on this is just like, again, I think that this was a not World Series team that snuck into the World Series because there was no one left and then lost to a genuine contender. Like I don't think it's any like there's any like rearranging of the batting order that would have made it different and stuff. Like I think they weren't very good. And then also I said this a little bit earlier, and I guess this is kind of a decent time to talk about it a little bit more. I don't like how they do baseball managers. Like I just don't like it in general. Like they just bring in guys that have been in the industry. It's like, hey, I know you know baseball. Come on in. Get like and this is gonna sound silly, but like get like someone who got a master's at Harvard in statistics, okay? Bring him in to do all the analytical batting order things. And then there's people you'll encounter in your life where you're like, whenever you're around them, they just reflect this leadership and they just motivate. You're on the road with this team for 162 games. Get a manager that's like a Dan Campbell, a Phil Jackson, whatever, however they want to be like that. Someone, because so much baseball is mentality. Get someone in there where every single day you're playing 9 games in a row. I don't know if they play 9 in a row. You're playing so many games in a row. You're batting again. You're exhausted. And you're still like, this guy's still motivating you to step up to the plate to do everything you can to be as productive as possible for your team. I think that would be so much better if they, I think, why is a non-genius, like this is $1 billion enterprise, why isn't some super statistical genius figuring out batting orders? And why isn't there some amazing motivator traveling with the team fixing their mentality? Like the fact that they're spending $50 million on Aaron Judge. They don't want to spend $1 million on those two staff, like, the Harvard guy, and maybe $5 million on some motivating manager. I don't know. I think they do
Not even
everything
millions.
wrong.
You could probably get them for less.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
I've always been a big fan of that idea. You
Yeah.
say it to me
That is
lot, and I
honestly
love the
a really
idea
good
of that.
take.
Thank you.
Ryan Snicker needs that. TBH.
Yeah, well, going back to what he even said about Phil Jackson helping Michael Jordan,
Yeah.
Aaron Boone has an ample opportunity to help Aaron Judge, and nothing's happened.
No.
Like, Phil Jackson helped Michael Jordan get better. What has Aaron Boone done for Aaron Judge?
Oh, try again tomorrow. You got
Exactly.
this.
Seriously, he's like, you've got this next time. Nothing's happening. If nothing's happening for multiple years in the postseason, something's got to change, but they're obviously not doing that.
And now there is no next time.
Yeah, and
Season's over.
even with like all the errors that you even talked about that he should have changed in like game 1, that's one game. If the fans catch it as soon as it happens, why in the world is he not getting the idea? Hey, putting a guy that hasn't pitched since September in a pivotal spot in the bottom of the 9th in a World Series game, that's not a good idea.
And honestly, whenever whoever gets the momentum first, I feel like carries it throughout the rest of the season. You can't let the Dodgers get the game 1 momentum like that. Because as soon as they lost that first game, I feel like it was just Dodgers cruised the rest of the way because of that decision.
Absolutely.
But going back to your point about the mentality manager, it's like when a quarterback has a good connection with their
Absolutely.
coach. That's
Yes.
a really good comparison because I don't see that with Judge and Boone. I don't see that.
I don't see them
big
talk at all.
connection. No, you don't really see
No.
it at all. Like
Honestly, I don't see Judge liking
and-
Boone.
I would imagine
Honestly,
Judge is a hard
yeah.
person to reach. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that's his job. Boone's job to getting if you're a Yankees manager, your job kind of is getting money-seeking rich divas that think they're incredible to sacrifice their own hero legacy for the good of the team. That's what Phil Jackson did with Michael Jordan. I think that's hard to do. I'm not denying, and maybe Aaron Judge is the most humble and amazing person. I'm just having a horrible read on him, but I would imagine it's hard to reach Judge and to get him to kind of have some humility. But I mean, I think there's people out there that can do that, and I don't think that the Yankees ownership is seeking that out right now. I think they're just trying to find an Aaron Boone type.
Is that it?
fair enough.
All right, to close out our show, we have one last buy or sell. The Dodgers should keep Ohtani as their designated hitter next season.
I'm buying this. The Dodgers just won the World Series without him pitching. Honestly, I would argue that they didn't need him at all in the World Series. But we're not going to go there. What?
Go on.
But we're not going to go there. Ohtani is 10 times more efficient as an offensive player without pitching because he doesn't have to focus on pitching. He can focus on only hitting. And it showed with his stats this season. With the Dodgers rotation next season, that we were all worried about what Buehler will look like. I think we saw what Buehler can be. He is still good. He still has it. And I think they do re-sign Buehler this offseason. Yamamoto is good. We saw that this series. They will be getting Glasnow back, and they're likely going to have Fried. They have a solid rotation without Ohtani. I don't think they should risk losing Ohtani's offense just to have him pitching in an already deep rotation.
If he can do it and do it good, why not let him? He can do the job. He did the job, and he succeeded when he was pitching and hitting at the same time. Why not let him?
Is it his choice or is it the Dodgers' choice?
It's
Both.
It's got to
Yeah,
be.
it's- I think
it's a mix of both.
I think
bet-
it's more the Dodgers' choice, though.
I think so too.
Yeah. I bet he wants to pitch.
If he wants to, if he says no, they're not going to let him.
Of course not.
I mean, he's a competitor. He wants to
gonna
pitch.
win.
He
and
wants.
to
He's
hit.
gonna be out there. He's gonna be out there, but I don't think they'll need him.
I am going to also sell, and I am selling based on the fact that he can perform like he did in 2023. In 2023, he was hitting and pitching. On the mound, he had a 3.14 ERA, which is just about the same or better than most of who the Dodgers will have in their starting rotation for next year. And then at the plate, he had a 304 batting average and a 166 slugging. So that is quite impressive. I think that if he can perform like he did, then 100% he needs to be pitching and he needs to be batting because, they don't have many hitters that are better than that, and they also don't have many pitchers that are better than that. So if he can do both, he should do both.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, wait, was it? Okay, yeah, so I
He
got it
doesn't
right.
know.
So I will say that Ohtani needs to stay at DH because after looking at the rotation that the Dodgers have, this World Series, this postseason in general, they were playing on a mostly injured pitching rotation. I've been looking at the 40-man roster the past few minutes of the starting pitchers. Big names pop out immediately on the IL, such as Tyler Glasnow, Tony Gonsolin.
They have him too.
Yeah, several other names that are hurt. But yet, if they would have been in this World Series, they would have contributed huge.
They would have swept the
They won the
Yankees.
World.
They would have
Yeah,
bad.
they would have won. They won the World Series on a hurt rotation. They lost big name guys, and they still got it done, even with the bullpen game. Obviously, they still lost said bullpen game. We'll forget about that though. But besides that, they won a World Series. They made it to the postseason with a broken rotation that they managed to fix. And honestly, I think Ohtani needs to stay a hitter because here's the thing. If he goes to hit and pitch, he's going to have to deal and train for both of those. If you just have him working on how to hit more than pitch, he's going to have more reps in the batting practice. He's going to get better at hitting only. And honestly, if he's just focusing on hitting alone, I think Ohtani could probably double Aaron Judge in the regular season with his numbers. Because if Ohtani is, because here's the thing with Ohtani.
20 home runs?
Honestly, why not? Why not? I think if Ohtani, even though he's had to pitch in previous seasons and hit in previous seasons, he still put up really good numbers. However, if he's just solely in his career focusing on hitting, I think he's going to be a absolutely phenomenal hitter and even better than he is now.
Do you think that shows the huge difference between Dave Roberts as a manager and Aaron Boone because he's able to handle his roster as opposed to Aaron Boone?
Maybe. Anyways.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll be quick, and that may make up for the last one. I don't have a ton to say on this, but I'm selling, and I know this is less managerial, which obviously was the point of the question. I'm thinking more Ohtani and his legacy. I think you can separate great players into two categories, and I've kind of talked about this a little bit, but there's players that are like Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James, Tom Brady, that are absolutely incredible players that produce at a high level. They check every box. But then there's other players you watch where you're you can only understand it if you live through it. We will never be able to explain Victor Wembanyama to our kids someday if they miss it. We will. And I think what Ohtani, and obviously again the Michael Jordan has that mystique where it's like we'll never understand what it was like to watch Michael Jordan in his prime. I think you can understand a LeBron James, Patrick Mahomes type, of Tom Brady type a little bit better. I think what separates Ohtani from the like incredible player to the like this like larger than life hero is his two-way playability. So again, like managerial decision making and stuff, I didn't delve into that a ton today, but I just think that like that's what makes Ohtani Ohtani, and not just like Mike Trout now, like or like Mike Trout in 2015 and in 2024 it's Ohtani. Like I think that's what makes him a hero, and like what makes him so great. I think that's what makes him special. So I think he should pitch. But yeah.
Managers kill a player's legacy half the time, or a lot of the times it's a big deal. You can have the best players in the league, and have a manager that still can't get you to that World Series or win it. Hence Aaron Boone. It's really comes down to the managers are the ones that impact a player the most. They're the ones that are telling them what to do, showing them how to be a better player. And for Ohtani, I mean, of course, he was with the Angels. Angels are known to historically have bad management decisions, and yet Ohtani still produced under them. I think if Dave Roberts just allows Ohtani to just hit, I think he will turn him into probably the best player that baseball has ever seen hitting-wise. I really think he could, because Dave Roberts has done it with multiple guys over the years. Many people have passed the Dodgers system and done great under him and then kind of stunk once they left it. Example, I think off the top of my head, Yasiel Puig was a great player with the Dodgers, left them. Who's seen him since?
Yeah.
Right. He's dead.
Well, that's a wrap for today's spooktacular show. We'll be back next year with more haunting hot takes.
Oh my
A big thanks, as always, to Zach and Connor and our amazing panelists. Catch you next time on Touching All Bases.